the similarities and the changes.
There are many similarities that my wife and I have witnessed here at Lakeside over the years. Have there been changes? Yes. But have the people changed? Yes. And the major support is the friends and the personalities and the people that you come to not only appreciate but love here in Lakeside. And you never hesitate at all to essentially help someone else. And I have been helped personally so many times now, it's almost embarrassing. But nevertheless, it's what makes Lakeside. It's the people. It's not certainly the architecture. Yeah, do we have all this unique architecture? Yes, you hear all kinds of comments on it. What a wonderful community we have, and so on and so forth. If the people, like the entertainers, for instance, they make these good comments from the stage, but they really don't have a chance to know the people. That's the most important thing. I can well remember, here I was, still practicing, particularly after my retirement. I had the advantage of retiring when I was only 56. So now I have retired way over 30 years. I have contributed to every building practically in Lakeside. Just delighted to do it, and contributed to many individuals. Yes, did I expect payment when I designed people's houses? The original Bach Night house did the original design. It was torn down, and they built a second one, and I did the second one. You know, I've done many people's houses here in Lakeside. I actually still have the documents, all of which have to go to the Heritage Society, which I really still support. I was happy to really do it because it really pays off. The people, almost without exception, have been wonderful, and that's the important thing. It's the people at Lakeside that makes Lakeside, believe me, not the architect.
I think one of the things that I've missed in recent years is we don't seem to have as many volunteering groups. And I know there are, but I'm not evidently involved in them, but I remember so well, like when we had the big ice cream socials, and how everybody would try to figure out when's the best time to take your cake to the hotel. And I can see all those women trying to cut pieces of cake. It just was kind of controlled chaos. But it was really fun, and everybody got to know everybody. And I think we kind of missed some of that because we have a lot of administration that takes over things like that, which is wonderful, but we're missing something. And the other thing I noticed is it used to be you walk down the street and everybody said, good morning, how are you, whatever, nice day. And now I find often they're, especially it seems like young married people, maybe they have little children, and it's hard sometimes to make eye contact or say hello. It's like they're kind of wary of really getting to know people, and maybe there are people that think this is just a summer place to come for a weekend. So I don't know.
The question I was asked was, what are your observations about the sense of community We've changed. Society's changed. Certainly more upscale. It really is a problem today for a person of average income to buy a property in Lakeside, and that's a shame, but that's what's, and I think it's getting worse by the year.
I'll just say, is there anything else, because all of you have some notes, is there anything else that, on a question I didn't ask, that you have a real desire to share with the audience? Something that, as you pondered the questions this week, you wanted to be sure to have a chance to say? You can take the mic, girl. Just reach for it.
Are you ready for the question? How many here, raise your hands, can remember when the first patio burned to the ground? More than I
It's a
thought.
patio restaurant.
A patio restaurant. We won't go into details, but one weekend, overnight, it burned down. There used to be a small shopping center behind what is the patio on Walnut Street, and there was a shop there called Tom's Toggery. Now, who remembers the owner of that shop? Who was it? Tom Edwards, which was then subsequently became general manager of Lakeside. On that corner at 2nd and on the west gate, which is called Our Place. Does anybody remember what it used to be? The post office, for those of you who do not know it, was just a little single window post office.
What was unique about that post office, Earl?
And a gate down the middle, both sides.
Kept the Danbury Township people from coming into Lakeside and Lakeside people from going out, although that wasn't the biggest problem, by putting a gate down the middle of it in the summertime.
All right, now at 3rd and Jasmine, there's a parking lot across from Bradley Temple. Does anybody remember what used to be on that corner? The Mary Ellen, for those of you who don't know that. Now, on 2nd and Maple. At 2nd and Maple, which is now a parking lot for the Fountain Inn, do you remember what used to be on that corner?
Gas station. Gas station.
Who was that? Joe?
Yeah, the gas station.
A gas station, right. And didn't they used to have ice for sale there?
Probably.
Right where that corner is.
You're just proving how old everybody in this room is.
Okay, now,
This is a memory test.
the shopping mall on 2nd Street between Maple and Walnut. Do you remember what the store was on the corner?
Which corner?
Clothing shop, there was a pizza store.
Now, on 2nd, right at the corner starting at Maple,
There was a.
Carol Martin.
it used to be
Carol
Carol's
Martin.
Market. Carol's Market. It used to be a full grocery store, fresh meat, everything, yeah. In fact, and do you know who Danny Carroll is, the contractor? He's the son of the owners of Carol's Market.
Great-grandson.
Great-grandson. And then that corner evolved into Der Marketplace. Ross Klesley, a lot of you people knew Ross Klesley and his wife Jeanette. They made that into a sort of a replica of a German store. And they had that for several years. And then Tom Brown had it. He made it Brown's Market. So that's a little history of that. And that's really all I got.
Okay, let's pass to Marilyn, see if she has anything she wants to share that I didn't ask and she's particularly.
Oh, my. Well, I just kind of listed some of the new things that are so great. Farmers market
Yeah.
and improvement in all the flowers everywhere you look.
That's wonderful.
And those beautiful baskets on the light poles. And then, of course, we didn't used to have golf carts. I think that's one of the biggest changes through the years. And bikes. I wonder how many bikes are in Lakeside. I know several years ago at the 4th of July parade, I thought, I'm going to count the bikes. I got up to 800 and they were still coming and I gave up. I don't know. And then I also think we have a lot more dogs. And it seems like so many people have 2 dogs that they're walking. So there's some of the things that are different.
I'll just make a comment about dogs that I share on Wednesdays. Monteagle, Tennessee, the Chautauqua there charges for dogs. It's $60 per dog, whether you bring your dog for 1 day, 1 week, or the entire season. And I just think Lakeside should consider the income they could add to their gate fee income if they charged $60 per dog in Lakeside.
They let them run loose too.
Gretchen,
And the custom is that they're all loose.
we'll attribute the idea to you, Gretchen. Bring people who are not interested in that to call you.
One of the most interesting things that I think has happened to me over the years was particularly since we've lived up here now almost 10 years full time, is using the Senior Citizen Center up there. And of course, the majority of people that use that are from Marblehead. And as a consequence, you get into conversation with some of these people, and it's amazing to find out how many of them have never entered what they consider the holy ground of Lakeside. And that in itself always sort of floored me, that essentially they were doing it. And then in addition, how many of them have honestly thought that really Lakeside was nothing but a large trailer park. And as a reason for that, particularly in the wintertime, when you go down the highway and the greenery has died off and so on and so forth, the fence is open, the fence is rusted, and essentially all you see are essentially the trailers. So you can understand that. The other thing that has always bothered me, and Gretchen is well aware of this, as is Carol Morgan, that for years, and even though I donated the drawings for whatever remodeling was ever done on well, not so much on the museum, but essentially on what do we refer to it now?
The archives.
Oh, we still call it the archives?
Yeah,
Oh.
the Caldwell House.
The Caldwell House, yeah. I've always advocated, since Evelyn and I over the years would visit occasionally national parks, particularly down in Kentucky, and they always had a visitor center that was operated all year long, even though people were not necessarily patronizing the park. They normally would have a visitor center, a small museum, and a small shop that would go with it. And I've always advocated it, that essentially it needs to be up on the highway. Okay, even though I've always supported the money aspects of essentially our museum and what have you here. Nevertheless, I always said, I wish it were being put into better use, that we would be up in the highway. Again, because I'm in the senior citizen center, I'm recognizing that we need to be going out more to the people of Marblehead. Now they do, like last night, there were people there from Marblehead, although the majority of them for other places in the state. Nevertheless, this 5-year plan that they're promoting now, I'm anxious when I hear their final recommendations as to what they're going to do. I've had the opportunity, I've been told to use the opportunity to speak to them. I did speak to the man that headed it up. And the main question I had was, they never included any conversation as far as the audience was concerned as to how money or what plans they have to do to support this